Okay, so we're going to cover 1-3 distance and midpoint formula. Today we're just going to work with the distance formula and we'll do midpoint formula tomorrow. So to get us started, we're going to do a quick review of the axes, the quadrants, the signs in each quadrant, the signs of X and Y that is, and then the origin. So I'm going to start off with the origin. It's right there in the middle. It's 0, 0. My axes, X is horizontal, Y is vertical. My quadrants, 1, 2, 3. Oh, I did that backwards. 4. The signs. So in the first quadrant, my X is positive and my Y is positive. In the second one, my X is negative, my Y stays positive. In the third one, X is negative, Y is negative. And the fourth one, X is going to be positive while the Y is going to be negative. Now that should have been some, I don't know, Math 8 review real quick there. Oh. So, the distance formula. You may or may not have heard or got to this distance formula in Algebra 1. Sometimes you get to it in 8th grade. But let's refresh our memories. The distance. So, distance is square root of x sub 2 subtract x sub 1, that quantity squared, plus y sub 2 subtract y sub 1 quantity squared. That's a lot to remember. This is a formula that you have to learn or memorize. This is not one of the formulas that they will give you on the SOL test if you're one of those lucky individuals that gets to take it in May. This is one that if you want to use this formula, you have to know it. What's another word for distance? How far away something is. A lot of the times it's going to be referred to as length. So in your problems, if you see the word length, you're probably going to have to use the distance formula. So you use the distance formula when you want to find the distance between two points. Whenever you're using this formula, I want you to show all your steps, and I always want you to write it down if you're using it, because if you write something down, then it helps you to remember it quicker. So let's jump right into our problem. You're probably used to labeling your points, your coordinates, as y1. You're probably used to labeling these coordinates as x1, y1, x2, y2. So now I'm just going to substitute the values in. And then let me double check. So I should have my x's together in the first spot. So 6 subtract a negative 2. And then I'm going to have negative 2 subtract 6. Now you're probably thinking, ooh, Miss Bearden, we need to change our signs and clean this up a little bit. So this 6 plus 2 is going to become an 8 squared plus a negative 2 subtract 6. That's going to become a negative 8 squared. So when I put my calculator here, I get 128, and then the square root of 128 is 11.3. I'm just going to put that 11.3. Now, yes, you could have typed actually, you probably would have typed it like this. If you wanted to have typed everything in like that, you can. Just remember, when you square a negative number, it is not negative. It becomes a positive. So, that sure is a lot of work for a problem. Be nice if this calculator would do it for us, and it most certainly does do it for us. You probably caught a little glimpse there when I first opened it up. I hadn't completely cleared my calculator. So if you're finding the distance, you type the word distance into the calculator. You got to know how to spell it. So let's hope you can spell the word distance. You got to make sure you use your parentheses. You got a whole bunch of parentheses you got to use here. So let me get these. Got to make sure you're using commas. Do I got the same answer? Yeah, I pretty much got the same answer here. So let's take a look at this. I'm typing the word distance, and I got to make sure that I have parentheses around everything. You also got to make sure you have a parenthesis at the end to close it. Do you see that? Do you see where I have all the parentheses and I've got those commas? I've got a comma in between my 2 points. If you leave this comma out, nothing's going to happen. You're going to get a little exclamation mark. You see that exclamation mark right here? See it? All right, when you get an exclamation mark like that in Desmos, that means there's something wrong. So, I'm going to go on to my next problem. It says, find FG and JK, then determine whether they're congruent. So, JK, well, wow, you can't count because you're on a diagonal. So let's use the distance formula. We got to measure some lengths here. I need the coordinate for J. What is that? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. And K. K is -1, 1, 2, 3. All right. So there's my coordinates for J and K. My coordinates for F is over 1 up 2. And my coordinate for G one, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to double check. I make mistakes. Okay, -1, -3. All right, I'm happy with it. So now I'm going to go over here. I'm going to hit the ABC button to get a keypad up. Type in the word distance. I'm hitting that 1, 2, 3 button to go back. I'm going to put in some parentheses, and then I'm going to put in some more parentheses. So JK is -4, 0. I got to put a comma to put my next point. -1, comma, -3. Oh, one too many. So JK is 4, what are we rounding to? The nearest tenth. So 4.2. Now, I've got this nice and pretty set up in here. So all I need to do is change these points. So for F, 1, 2, 4, 4. For FG, that's 3.6. So if JK is 4.2 and FG is 3.6, are those two numbers congruent? No, not congruent. All right, so stop your video and go do your assignment.